Welcome back to another video. Today we are returning to the dowsing rods and we're going to discuss in depth some questions that are going to be asked besides answering yes and no. So let's dive into it.
Yes.
Will the English monarchy still exist in 30 years' time?
No, I don't think in quite nearly the format that it is now.
What is it? Can you explain it to me as a English monarchy? What is it?
King and queen, princes, dukes.
Okay.
The whole, we're royal, we don't work, but we do things that other people don't. It's quasi-politics. I don't know much about it.
I don't know much about it either.
Seems pretty archaic to me.
Is it a way of governing the country? Is that what they do?
I don't know who does the real governing, but in my mind, I'm simplifying it down to a lot of pomp and circumstance, a lot of ritual, a lot of royal jewels and things like that. And I think there's a lot of people who really still like that because it's great theater. I think it's going to come apart. That's not a dowsing rod thing. That's just me listening to the news.
Well, the question was asked and the dowsing rods are answering yes or no.
Okay.
So we gotta roll with it.
Okay.
No answer.
No answer. Interesting.
Must be a British deity.
I know.
Thank you. Is that an undecided future?
Is that an undecided future?
Well, I think many
Regarding the same
futures.
question.
I think many futures are undecided. I think there's an inclination or an energetic move towards something, but that can change. It can slow. It can accelerate.
Right.
Is my opinion. So, undecided. Yeah, we all have free will.
Yes, thank you. Is it true that between 3 a.m. and 5 a.m. the veil between the physical world and the spiritual realm is the thinnest?
I've heard different things about that, but I mean, what time zone are you in? You see?
Exactly. I was just thinking the same thing. Like
so
if you're
I
in
think
Europe.
I relate it more to my conscious mind activity between those hours. Between 3 and 5, I'm definitely in REM. But what about those people that are working the night shift, the swing shift? I mean, it's not time-centric.
It's based on a person.
I think so. I think for this answer, they're going to say, yes, it is, because we're sleeping.
You'd be surprised.
Okay.
No, I
Because
think.
it's a no.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, see, it's not based on a time.
Yeah.
It can be.
Do people have an easier time connecting to the spiritual realm because they tend to be in the middle of sleep and or slightly awake?
Yeah, I think you're kind of closer to the quantum in that instance, depending on your stress, the person's stress level. Like last night, I didn't sleep. I slept for 2 hours last night. You know,
Wow.
I just was worked up about some things, and definitely not close to anything spiritual. Quite the opposite. I was like, just rinse, 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 rinse.
So you're saying while you're meditating and you're like pretty much stress-free as much as you can be during the meditation state, you're the closest to the spiritual realm as you can be.
Well, it's like you go to the gym, all of a sudden you're just not in shape. I think that just because you went in a hurry, I think that it's a buildup. There's a familiarity, a comfort, an allowing of the senses to flow a certain way. And it takes a long time. When I was upset last night, I was all about the 5 senses. I was like calculating, negotiating, I was doing all sorts of things in my mind. All 5 senses. I was pretty freaking far away from
You
it.
want to talk about it?
No, it's just bullshit, so. But a lot of people have that kind of late night bullshit, right? They get punched around during the day.
Absolutely.
Yes, thank you. Are messages more easily communicated between 3 and 5 a.m.?
I think the messages are always clearly communicated. Whether we're clearly listening is another story.
Yeah.
I think that's my answer.
Yes, thank you.
It's a yes from whoever.
I'm like,
The
there's
dowsing
yes,
rods.
there's no, and then
Yeah.
there's some thoughtfulness. And I like to be in the thoughtfulness area.
Yeah, me too.
Do bee stings help arthritis?
Well,
Do bee stings.
Yeah, it's a science thing. I have seen that.
I read a story recently. I don't know about arthritis, but some lady had a Lyme disease. At some point, she got stung by the killer bees a lot, like by accident. And within 3 days, she felt much better, and her Lyme disease just disappeared. It's a thing that bees do heal people.
I think insects have tremendous healing powers. I don't know really anything about it because I own a business in the CBD sector.
Right.
I say, well, arthritis, in my mind, a big part of it has to do with inflammation.
Yep.
And CBD is anti-inflammation. You know, in the old days it was bees, in the 60s it was pot, you know,
Yeah.
probably still. So I'm going to say yes to the bees thing, but I think there's a lot of other things that are players as well.
Okay, fair enough.
No, thank you. Are ice baths good for the body?
They're not good for my body. They just piss me off.
Oh, I know they're good because they also reduce inflammation. They slow your body down. It's a slow aging process. It'll wake you up more. You get the endorphins.
Well, I get that, yeah. But what about people that don't have access to that? I mean, so all of a sudden, ice baths is ahead of something else? I'm saying that to me, it's a selective thing. I also believe that what you believe helps you.
Absolutely.
Has great impact on the efficacy of what you just experienced. If you get into an ice bath and you think this is really going to help me,
Yep.
it's going to help you a little more than maybe just the ice would have.
Absolutely.
It's a collaboration.
Placebo effect.
The mind and the body, yeah. But I also think it's very easy to be persuaded. I'm persuaded easily in things that I don't even realize that I'm being persuaded in. The way something's presented to me, if I like it, I listen closer, I believe it more, if it has a certain delivery quality to it, or if it came from some sort of authority that I'm invested in. So I'm going to say, just what the hell, ice baths are fine. They're good.
Yeah.
Yes, thank you.
Yep.
Are modern schools a scam that prevent people from learning the truths of the universe?
A scam. I would say that schools, many schools, are highly deficient in teaching anything beyond the five senses. This goes into our manufacturing platform, that work smart, not hard, that whole pitch that you need a degree, get processed. I think the schools turned into, not all schools, not everybody, not all teachers, but I think that there's a lot of proxy parenting that schools became responsible for. And then when that happens, a lot of the morality issues and the entitlement issues come in, because it's not about the education, it's how was I treated?
Right.
And it's more about that. So I'll say not a scam, but schools in my mind are becoming less and less helpful for practical problem solving, worldly things. They're very divisive.
I don't know if schools were ever very helpful.
Well, also what type of school? Because I'm thinking through high school,
Okay.
Colleges are, people choose where they want to go usually for colleges, so they're in direction more.
Well, they're forced by their parents.
Okay.
Sorry, Mom.
So I'll say not a scam, but not helpful. But I don't know that it was helpful.
No,
No,
thank you.
schools are not a scam.
Well, it's a strong word.
Are there Lemurian beings living in a place called Telos in Mount Shasta?
I don't know about that. Lemurians, Atlantis and Lemuria, I don't know that that bloodline is in the physical, but Mount Shasta, I was told, has there are master teachers in Mount Shasta, and that there are master teachers incarnated in the physical, and we don't know about them, but they're here to balance the vibratory rate of positivity in the planet, rather than, because we have this negativity.
I hear what you're saying, but if I just came and met you for the first time, and I was like trying to get a job offer, and you're out here just talking about some beings, and like all this crazy stuff, I'm like, what is this?
This is the moment where it's not an answer. It's something that I've heard a few things about. Do I go like this on the scale, like yes, or do I go like this on the scale, no? I go like this on the scale,
There's no certain answer.
Yeah, I don't have the answer. Oh wait, so she asked if I'll say no.
Yes, thank you.
See, don't. And her yes, really? I mean, we don't know.
We don't know.
It's okay.
Is autism something you can cure?
Is autism something you can cure?
I don't know. I was told that children with disabilities are oftentimes very highly evolved spirits and entities. This is controversial, and that the entity that chooses to take that body that's impaired in some ways or gifted is more about for those that come in contact with the child through their life, the parents, the doctors, the physician, all that opportunity that child creates for learning compassion, learning patience, learning that it's more about that they're actually a teacher. It's children with disabilities is something that'll just tear me apart really quick, because I don't have a lot of understanding about it. It just breaks my heart,
Absolutely, yeah.
I thought that I would have, if I was very wealthy, one of the philanthropic things that I would like to do is I think the children receive a lot of care, but the parents don't.
Yeah.
And I would like to have provisions that the parents can actually be away from the house a certain amount of times every month, that they're the ones that go get some massage. They're the ones
Right.
that, and not have to worry, and that there's a,
Because they're the ones going through it and
yeah, and
dealing
they're,
with
I mean,
all
could
the
you imagine?
yeah.
I mean, your child, you love them, but they're hitting you in the face, they're peeing on the rug. There was one instance, it was on PBS, there was a show, and they had this autistic child, and they took him to these shamans in, I don't know where, they were these horse riding shamans, and they did cure him, and it was fascinating. I'll find it and we'll upload that.
In April 2004, my son Rowan was diagnosed with autism. The feeling was like being hit across the face with a baseball bat. Our lives became clogged under a mountain of conflicting information on the disorder. We tried everything. He didn't speak to us. One day, he ran away from me and ran right up to a horse called Betsy. The moment I put Rowan on Betsy's back, he began to speak.
He's a nice horse.
As Rowan began to open up to me for the first time, a light bulb went on in my head. Was there a place on Earth that combined healing with horses? Mongolia.
I couldn't believe that this child was, shitting himself by the end of the documentary. And this was for, 12 years. And they'd tried every medical, and by the end of the video, he's playing with kids.
And do you think it's real and not staged for the sake of the show?
You'd have to decide for yourself. I
Right.
think that the shaman who was involved moved something within that child, some sort of energy. Remember, we're electricity
Right,
in
absolutely,
the
yeah.
physical part of us. And it was just a fascinating documentary. I'll have to remember the name of it.
I'm curious now too.
It was like Nova or it was a big show. Is autism curable? And because of that documentary, I'll say yes, but probably not for everybody, because I don't think it's supposed to be cured in many instances.
No, thank you. Does working in a job where you catch people being dishonest, such as a policeman or an investigator, does that in and itself create bad karma?
Are they racking up the karma? In the sense like if they shoot somebody? I don't know, that's a touchy one, because
Right.
I think that, I don't believe that we come in contact with people by accident, even
Correct.
casual things.
I think so too.
So my guess is those people have quite a complicated life, but I don't know how to answer that. I'm just glad we have police, actually. I'm glad, because who are you gonna call, right? I mean, you can't deal with it.
Mom!
Yeah, so I'm glad that there is that stuff, but I would not take the job because I'd be worried about creating karma, that I would be caught in a situation so stressful that my reaction is, he took my gun, now I have to take it back, and the only way to get him off is to shoot him in the nose. I wouldn't want that. It's the same thing with, I talked to my buddy about war,
Yeah.
and he said, well, up until the point of being in the war, he said, I'm a pacifist. But if I'm in the war and people are shooting at me, he's like, I gotta do something. I either have to shoot back to escape, or I have to shoot back to move forward. I think in my past lives I've been in enough wars. This is why I can't stand it, And those also who can't stand it probably have had some experience in wars. I've seen recordings of people talking about war, and they've seen it all, and they're just like, I didn't need that in my life.
Yeah, it's very traumatic experience for sure.
I see a dead cat in the road,
Yep.
and I mean, could you imagine seeing a dead child? I mean, no.
I don't want to imagine that.
No, exactly. That's why I don't watch those kind of movies that are...
I have seen plenty of footage from current events, and I wish I didn't.
I try not to take it in.
Yeah, I try to just like, it's a movie, whatever, Like I'm trying not to like think
Too
it's real,
sensitive.
but yeah, same. It sticks, and I don't want to think about it, but it's there, and now I have it in my brain. You can't like forget something on purpose.
It now occupies a space that it didn't before.
Yep.
So something has been displaced or reprioritized, and I'm not willing to donate that kind of validity to things that I don't have to see. Not so many decades ago, something could happen in my small town, and only the small town would know about it.
Yep.
Then we had national newspapers, and now I'm all of a sudden concerned about what's happening in California.
Yep.
And
So you
now,
have the ability to
are you
know.
concerned with what's happening on Mars? Probably not so much,
No,
But wouldn't- right?
but within the next, I don't know, supposedly 30 years, Elon Musk promises 1 million people city on Mars.
Well, it's a great promise to make. I mean, it's like the Million Man March. I mean, name it the number,
Right.
and it sticks.
But like, point is, like, at that point in 30 years, if that's a thing, and I am able to check in on that and be like, whoa, what's going on there? You know, I'll want to know. Like, it's exciting. It's cool.
I personally think there'll be other types of space travel before
Yeah, I think so.
Musk is doing his thing. I don't know. That guy, I don't know if he doesn't strike me as a man at peace. Doesn't mean he can't think about neat things, but I'm just like, wow. So what was the question?
The karma. Does.
Oh, fuck, I don't know. You know, you have the talk.
Yeah.
Not the
no,
answer.
it's good.
Your job's like, blah, 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 answer in the editing.
No, thank
No.
you. If you are fascinated with a particular time period, does that mean that you used to have a past life during that time?
I think in many instances, it's very likely. There's different levels of interest, right? I mean, there's somebody who says, oh, I like watching old movies. And there's others who have a physical response or deja vu or things like this.
Yep.
So I'll say yes.
Yes, thank you. Does wearing a cover on your head, such as a hat, a scarf, a shawl, or even a hijab, actually protect your crown chakra?
I've never heard anything about that. I think we're talking about a physical matter versus the energetics of chakras. I think it's different dimensions.
Yeah, different levels of.
I would say no. I don't think so. They do say that certain stones have energy that interacts, but if I'm wearing a baseball cap or cotton or things like that, I don't think it's vibrationally.
It shouldn't matter, right? Because again, it's.
I don't think it has an impact. That's my opinion, not answer.
Yes, thank you.
Well, I have less hair. Am I in trouble?
Yeah, you're not very protected, Michael.
Oh, damn it.
Your answer has more logic behind it, if anything.
Well,
I think more people would agree with you than just a random yes or no.
this is how it starts, because this is why I was saying you should ask me the same question again and again, because at a certain point the logic goes away and there's room for something else. And that's what I would like to get to the point of. But I think that what I'm interested in doing is saying that there's probably a large number of people out there that have a similar take that you just mentioned. It's like, well, we can kind of think our way through that a little bit.
Right.
But the part that's not thought through is where does the discussion go after that? Once the logic is expressed, it's like, put it over here, and some people will stay there.
Yeah.
And other people will go, what if?
Yeah.
And that's when it becomes kind of neat, I think.
It's interesting to dive into it a bit more
I like it.
and see what if, yeah.
It's not like I go home and think about these questions. I go home,
Right.
I turn on YouTube, I play with the cat, you know. So this is, to me, this is why I'm drawn to her system, although I think it's, in a sense, ineffective because it's yes or no. It's kind of like painting a picture with two colors and they're opposing colors.
Yep.
It's really going to be kind of a
Could be cool.
jolty picture.
Well, there's one behind you. It's two colors.
But it's not. It's the brain is saying it is. There's a lot more colors there.
Okay. I disagree.
Yeah.
Two shades.
Shades.
Right. Well.
Shades are. Anyways, I'm not a
Right.
color theory guy. I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
I mean, it looks like there's not blue. Well, there is a little blue there, but not a lot.
Okay. Fine. Jesus.
I don't know.
All right. All right. Moving on.
I'm terrible with color. He's like, clearly it's blue.
So.
Oh, we got blue lights here.
Yeah, a little bit.
Okay.
Next question.
Is it necessary to cover and protect your crown chakra?
I think the implication is with clothing or something.
Just in general, I guess.
I think that if a person is to start just to be aware of their crown chakra as a thing, it's pretty good because then it stimulates energetic flow. And there's a technique, it's funny, that you can, if you wake up in the morning and you want additional vibrational protection, you step into this sleeping bag if you will. You put the sleeping bag on the floor in your imagination, and it's illuminated light. It's this etheric light, this love, and you pull it up over your body and in the crown chakra.
I think you've talked about it.
Yeah, you encapsulate yourself. Someone told me about that, and I do that sometimes when I'm.
To make you feel better overall?
I don't know. I do it when I'm not aware of my other senses, because I'm like, I need to do something to get away from my five senses. So I start doing things like that. It's not like I document some marvelous thing, but I'm shifting my energetic thoughts to beyond the five senses. That is helpful. Not in the moment, but accumulatively, like a week, a month, a year.
Time, yep.
Yeah, raising my vibration.
So protecting your chakra.
I'll say it's important, but protecting is not with this method. I think it's important to protect your whole energetic field.
Right.
And that's done by thinking, the way you think, the way you feel, not engaging overly, not being triggered. Yeah.
No, thank you.
All right, I'll do a closing. To the camera or to you?
So to the camera. Look at the camera and be like, that's your friend.
You've been
That's
trying to
your
get me to
friend.
look at the camera.
That's your friend right there.